I've always been a voracious reader, and I was even an English major as an undergrad in college, and I could certainly put together a list of 100 books and 100 authors that I really like. But I have my favorites, and for the purpose of this conversation, I'll kind of just stick to those. But I distinctly remember the book that really reached out, grabbed hold of me, and made me think for the first time that I really wanted to be a writer. And that book was East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I was in high school, and I was a member of the Bishop Union High School Championship track team. And just about every Saturday we'd hop in buses and travel to meets 250 miles away in various parts of Southern California because Bishop was so remote. And on a beautiful spring day in April, I grabbed a copy of East of Eden for the long trip from the Eastern Sierra to the Wasco Relays, which was held in the little town of Wasco, just north of Bakersfield, in the middle of the Central Valley, and it was right near Steinbeck country. And so I started reading, and I was just mesmerized. We started, traveling through the Tehachapi Pass in the Southern Sierra and started descending into the foothills above the Central Valley farmland. And that's really where the magic happened. I'd read Steinbeck's lush descriptions of the California hillsides and the farmland in the spring, and then I'd look out my window and I'd see a vista exactly how he described it. There were rolling foothills carpeted with green, and they were dotted with oak and ablaze with the yellow bloom of, wild mustard. And when we arrived at the meet, everyone piled out of the bus but me, because I was entranced. I remember finally putting the book down about 5 minutes before my race, dashed out to the track, ran my race, and then came back into the bus and kept reading. I just absolutely devoured that book, and I loved how Steinbeck wrote about the land and his environment. I have a deep appreciation of how important a sense of place is to a story, and that's because of, Steinbeck. He believed that places have a profound impact on people and vice versa. And I believe that too. And ever since reading East of Eden, I've been deeply interested in the interplay of people and geography. And it was just an absolute treat reading that book near where it had been written. Other works, that have kind of had a similar effect on me include, John Irving's The World According to Garp, Hemingway's A Farewell to Arms and his, A Moveable Feast, A Catcher in the Rye, of course, when I was young. I really got into Hunter S. Thompson. He's actually beneath the veneer of his craziness. He's actually a fabulous writer, and I love Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn, as Hemingway says, all American literature kind of begins and ends with Huckleberry Finn, and I tend to agree with that. And Dickens, I like A Tale of Two Cities. And then again, a lot of poetry. I love T.S. Eliot's The Love Song of Jalfur Prufrock, and then of course anything by Frost or Shakespeare.